where you reside. Into this place.
Hey everyone, it's Adam for RealHomeRecording.com. Slate Digital just released their first ever reverb plugin called VerbSuite Classics. I'm not sure if I'm going to call this a full-fledged review, but we'll see because the plugin doesn't really look that complicated to use. So more than anything, I'm just going to listen to it, and if it sounds good, then it's going to get a thumbs up. If not, then it won't. But this is my first time loading the plugin up. I have a bunch of instruments to play this through, so I'm going to load it up and see what I think. Okay, so right off the bat, very easily designed interface. It's a lot like other Slate Digital plugins. Kind of on the small side, but it's not tiny, but it's not huge either. All the text looks fine. Now I will say this, because I can't show this on screen, or I didn't, because it would just take too much time. The download for this program is huge. 3.5 gigabytes total if you include the add-on Bracasti M7 expansion pack. And because even the base installer is like 1.3 gigabytes, it takes a very long time to install this plugin. So I'm hoping that Slate Digital does offer this on DVD, because not everybody has a fiber optic internet connection. So like for me, it took about 5, maybe 7 minutes to download each installation file. So a total of like 15 minutes, which is very unusual for something that I download. Normally, it's like a minute long, but like I said, this is 3.5 gigabytes of data. So not everybody has a fast internet connection, so I'm hoping that they do offer this on a DVD set. So the key technology with this plugin is called Fusion IR. IR stands for impulse response. And what it does is it combines algorithm technology with convolution reverb for a high quality sound. Allegedly. I haven't heard this yet, so I'm going to play it for the first time. I haven't even looked at videos of this thing yet, so this should be very interesting. I did read the manual though. Briefly, I'm going to go over what each of the hardware models that are represented in here. So the FG16X is an AMS RMX16. It is known for a smooth characteristic. It was used on the album In the Air Tonight by Phil Collins for their drum sound. The FG2000 is a Sony DRE2000. Engineers love it on drums. It also sounds good on guitars, piano, and vocals. The 2016 model is an Eventide 2016. It came out in 1982. I actually thought it was more of a modern reverb, not knowing what it was, because, it has the year. I thought 2016 was a year. No. It is known for having realistic rooms. The FG250 is an EMT 250. It sounds thick. It's the first German digital reverb. The FG480, this is the one most of you guys should know, is an emulation of the Lexicon 480L. It is known as the industry standard reverb. It's been around since the early 80s. It still sounds great even to this day because it has a sound that cuts through mixes easier. FG6000 is the TC Electronic System 6000 reverb that was released back in 1999, so it's more of a modern reverb sound. Good for a lot of stuff. The FG BM7 is a Bracasti design Model 7. It is known for very realistic spaces. It is a modern day classic. Some engineers consider it to be the best digital reverb ever made. And finally, the last one that is in this VerbSuite, the FG QRS is a Quantec QRS. It's known for its transparency with minimal digital artifacts. I did forget to say one thing about Fusion IR. What it does is it adds in modulation characteristics that you lose with your standard convolution reverb technology. The lack of pitch and delay modulation has been the biggest criticism for convolution reverb. Although I love convolution reverb, I'm looking forward to how this sounds. All right, now before I get into that, I'm going to briefly talk about the controls. So probably the most important control is this one, although it's tiny. So, as far as a GUI, I would have put this load device thing maybe up here. I don't know. The presets, okay. So the presets are okay. I mean, that's where most Slate Digital plugins are for their presets. So having it at the top, I guess, makes sense. But I would have load device maybe right under here. And then I would have put all these controls down here in the middle, made the decay knob not so large. I know decay is probably the most important setting, but, like I said, to me, you should put things in order of how they're going to be used the most. So load device is actually the top setting in my opinion because it allows you to choose which hardware you're using. All right, so I'm going to click it and see what happens. Ooh, very nice. I'm just going to flip through these and not talk. Cool, it has a reverse reverb. So if you're into that 80s drum sound. Wow, that is a lot. Now, what I like about this, just take a step back for a second. All right. I'm not going to pull any of these up, but just look at this plugin. All right. How many controls do you see on screen? I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, we're not including the preset and the device button and this to enable or disable EQ. Just the knobs that you use to tweak things. 10 knobs total. Why am I making this distinction here? If you've ever used reverb plugins, 10 knobs is not a common sight. You're usually seeing a lot more options. Now, this could be either a good thing or a bad thing. In this case, I think it's a good thing because I don't know about you guys, but I love the LA2A compressor. And the biggest reason is it sounds good and it only has 2 knobs. 1 switch and 2 knobs. Great sound. So if this thing can give me a good sound with very few options, I'm going to be happy about that. Okay, so back to the controls. So you saw the load device control. Next up is the decay, which is our RT60 knob. So it's how long the reverb tail lasts from its initial level down to where we can't hear it anymore. The attack knob alters the room size. pre-delay postpones the onset of reverb. By the way, if you want to know what any of these controls do in depth, I have a reverb tutorial, which I'll put a link to on screen right now. So next up, we have the coarse knob, which sets the wet level of the delay pitch modulated signal. In layman terms, it makes the reverb sound wider and thicker. Speaking of wider, our width control controls the level of the side component. So if you ever heard the term mid-side, the side component is what makes things sound, more stereo, bigger. And at -6, it is at its most narrow, and at +6 decibels, it's very wide. Over here we have an equalizer, just 3 knobs. Again, it's a very simple to use EQ. They are set at 460 hertz on the low shelf, a 3 kilohertz bell filter for the mid, and a 12 kilohertz bell filter for the high setting. Basically, this is a stripped down version of Liquid Sonic's Reverberate 2. And like I said earlier, it's not necessarily a bad thing, because if you ever look at Reverberate 2's GUI, there are a shit ton of controls. And some of you guys might want that. So in that case, definitely check out that plugin compared to this one. But in my case, I don't want to be going through a shit ton of controls. I mean, I already have a lot of menus to go through with this. I already have a lot to go through with all these. This is a lot. This is a lot for me. All right? I got a lot of options. So, let's listen to this thing, all right? Let's see. First of all, we have some female vocals. And I'm going to put this on. I'll go with the 480. I don't know what this is going to sound like, all right? Oh, I did almost forget to say, over here is our gain and our dry wet knob. I'm not sure if the gain controls just the output. I'll find out in a second, though. So here we go. First time ever.
Break the face of humankind. If you feel it.
Okay, so the gain control only controls the output. That's a good thing. Although I do wish there was an input knob. You can always use trimmer or whatever to do that prior to this plugin, but it's always nice to have an input knob on the actual plugin. I'm going to mess with the dry wet knob as well, which if you're not familiar with that, it controls how much of the original signal versus how much of the reverb signal is blended. At 100%, it is 100% wet. At 0, you're getting just the dry signal. Typically, I would not have this on my master bus. I would have it on a send track for most of my reverb needs. So I just have this so it's easier for me to go through these individual tracks.
Break the face of humankind. If you feel inside, forever you reside.
If you hear any clicking and popping, again, I had this problem with another plugin. It's because the screen capture software is limited to 44.1 kilohertz, and this is running at 96 kilohertz in the project session. And the impulse responses are at 96 kilohertz, so I want to use them at the highest quality possible. But if this becomes a problem with the clicking and popping, I'm going to switch it. Okay, so for now, so far it sounds really good. I'm going to actually update my volume knob for a second. Hold on.
Of humankind. If you feel inside, forever you reside.
Sounds pretty good. I'm going to switch it to another 480 setting.
Of humankind. If you feel inside, forever you reside. Into this place among the mess I erase. Lie straight to my face, become the hate of my embrace.
Wow, that sounds really good. I mean, you guys saw it. Look how quick that was for me to get a good setting. This is what I'm talking about. I don't want to be twiddling with 100 settings. I want to get something that sounds good right away. I can just drop it on a mix. I can drop it on a track, and it will sound good. I have no idea what A plate is. All right, so I'm gonna always go back to 100% wet. Let me put this back on 0.
Into this place, among the mess I erase. Lie straight to my face, become the hate of my embrace.
Can you believe this reverb came out in the early 80s? Like, seriously, this thing sounds so good. Oh my god.
You reside.
Well, that popping is annoying. I'm very close to switching this to 441.
You reside. Into this place.
All right, guys, I'm going to switch this to 441. I'll be back at... All right, we're at 441 now, so there should be less popping, if not absolutely no popping. So anyway, I'm going to ask Slate if that's possible to change the sampling rate of your plugin. By the way, speaking of sample rate, take a look at the amount of samples that are used. Now, if I get rid of Loud Max, look at that. 0 samples. So this is a 0 latency plugin. That is awesome. I love that. All right, I'm going to put this back on, play this one more time. Hopefully without any popping and clicking and all that.
Forever you reside. Into this place, among the mess I erase. Lie straight to my face, become the hate of my embrace. Forever you reside. Into this place, among the mess I erase. Lie straight to my face, become the hate of my embrace. Forever you reside. Into this place, among the mess. Forever you reside. Into this place, among the mess I erase. Lie straight to my face, become the hate of my embrace. Forever you reside.
All right, I'm going to try this on one other model. Okay, this is the EMT 250. Again, I have no idea what any of these sound like. I am just playing with everything. I'll put it all the way wet again.
Break the face of humankind. If you feel inside, forever you reside. Into this place.
For the record, if I were doing this in a real mix, I would have all the other instruments playing and adjusting this knob while that happens. I'm only doing this for this review. Although I would solo it first just so I hear what it sounds like, and then I would blend it in again on a send, not on an insert. And in that case, it would be 100% wet if it were on the send. Just got to make that clear for all the newbies out there. Normally this would be on a send track at 100% wet.
Into this place among the mess I raise, lie straight to my face, become the hate of my embrace.
I should have mentioned this at the very start. My processor is a 4770 Intel i7, so it's less than 0.5% on the CPU usage. That's very good for a convolution reverb.
Lie straight to my face, become the hate of my embrace.
All right, enough female vocals. Let's go to male vocals now. And I did tweak this because without the tweaking, it didn't sound that clear. And now we're going to just add, well, I'm going to switch this. I don't know. Let's switch it to something different, right? Let's switch it to the FG6000, which is a modern reverb from 1999. Rich vocal sounds interesting. I'll also do some decay adjustments on here because I haven't touched that knob yet.
Time's a time to flutter form. Time's a time to flutter form.
Well, it is a 2.6 second delay. I mean decay. So let me adjust that down. And cool, it does switch down as I'm adjusting this. So you can only add so much more decay, but you can really drop it down.
Time's a time to flutter form. You use it up and break for more. When it runs out, you gnash your teeth. In a world that plays for keeps. All I ever see are shadows dancing deep in it.
I'm not a fan of that. It just sounds like he's in an auditorium. I don't really like that sound. I'm going to switch it to something different. Stairway plate.
All I ever see are shadows dancing deep in the deep blue of my heart. Twisting and turning, flowers are burning, slipping into the dark. All I ever see are shadows dancing deep in the deep blue of my heart. Twisting and turning, flowers are burning, slipping into the dark. All I ever see are shadows dancing deep in the deep blue of my heart. Twisting and turning, flowers are burning, slipping into the dark. All I ever see are shadows dancing deep in the deep blue of my heart. Twisting and turning, flowers are...
I like it. All right, let's go to some instruments here. I'm going to use the Bricasti. Let's do it, right? Let's do a small room. Damn, that sounds really good. I'm going to put it on a different reverb type now. Still Bracrosty, but a different setting. Oh, that would be cool for automation. Listen to that. That'd be cool to have like a little breakdown section, like the intro sounding like this. Listen to it. It's got like a flanger effect to it. I like that. Wow. Every single one of these reverbs I have really liked so far. All right, moving on. This piano, not the greatest in the world, but it's going to have to do for now. I haven't heard the 2016 yet, so let's listen to it. Again, this came out in the 80s? My God, it sounds good. Listen to it again while I bypass it. Now I want to hear it on the widest setting, because that sounds good in the middle. Let's hear it. Nah, I liked it where it was. A little bit too wide, so I liked it in the middle. the depth this thing adds. It's just like, wow. I love this plugin, man. I might have to buy this one. I said I'd never buy another reverb plugin. I have like plenty of them, but man, this just gives me so many options and it's so easy to dial in a great tone. Oh, it's a clean electric guitar. This should be interesting. So there's absolutely no delay or reverb. It's a straight up practice amp. Ugly sounding practice amp. No offense to my friend, but it's an ugly sounding practice amp. And I'm curious how good it sounds. I'm going to use one I haven't used yet, so this might not work, but we'll try it. Nah, I really don't like that setting, so I'm going to try something different. Whoa, this is a long reverb, so it might not work either. Yeah, it's a little bit too long. I'm going to drop it down to maybe like 2 to 3 seconds. Actually, I can do that. Duh, there's a decay button. Hold on, let me do that. I'm going to put it back up. Nah, I'm still not digging it. Let me go to another setting. Sounds okay. I'll try one more. I like that one. I think that was a good setting. You just got a lot of options. I could have went for some other reverb types, but I really just wanted to hear that. Now we get to drums, which I've been really looking forward to using the Sony DRE 2000. These are overheads. Let's hear what it sounds like. Hey, where's Reverb B at? Sounds pretty good. Sounds different. Sounded okay. I'm confused. Back to harmonica. Too much in my left ear. like the way that sounded. It just enveloped the stereo image. Let's listen to it one more time. Bypass first, and then I'm going to enable it. Well, I'm going to say I am happy with the way it sounds. It doesn't give the flexibility of other reverbs, but for what it is, you get a simple to use, or I should say easy to use reverb. I didn't even touch the equalizer, so you're not even seeing the full power of this thing. And overall, I mean, wow, this does sound good, and I just started getting into the Bracasti. I think this Bracasti is probably going to be the most used for natural sounding reverb for you guys if you end up buying this. And then all the other ones, especially the vintage ones, are going to be great for vocals, great for, if you want more of a vintage sound. But God, the Bracasti sounds so nice. For that alone, this plugin is worth $200. And for the other ones, I mean, you're getting 8 reverbs that are already set up in a good way. Like I said, sometimes too many options isn't a good thing. So that's what this plugin gives you. It gives you just 10 controls and 8 reverbs. I like it. I think I might buy it eventually. I have a lot of reverb, so, that's the one thing holding me back from buying this. If I didn't already have a few other plugins, this would be a must buy. But I tell you what, if you have the everything bundle, it's like $25 a month or $15 if you get it for a year. This is awesome. And like I said in another video, Slate is like 3 or 4 plugins away from you just having to get that. And if you're, an independent musician, you only mix your albums, once a year or once every 2 years, or however often you release an album, you can get all these great plugins, EQs, de-esser, compressors, now reverb. Soon you're going to get a delay plugin. And then you're going to get a distressor plugin. So God, man, like, it is just so affordable now to have high quality sound. So, absolutely, I might just get this if I'm mixing an album and I want to have just this. It might be worth the $25 for a month of use. You're getting eight reverbs that sound really good. But again, it's going to fall down to how many reverb plugins do you already own, and do they sound as good as this? Because this is really good. Really good. So, if you have kind of crappy reverb plugins, this is definitely something you might want to look into. If you don't have any reverb plugins, I would definitely put this towards the top of your must-try list. But if you already do have great sounding plugins, that's where you're going to have to make a determination. But man, this does, I'm very happy with this. I'm happy with the CPU performance. I'm happy that it didn't crash on me. So this definitely gets a thumbs up from me. What do you guys think? The only thing I didn't like was the download and the install time was very lengthy. Again, first world problems, but damn, man, 3.5 gigabytes of data. But hey, you know what? That's 3.5 gigabytes of data. That sounds good. So it's kind of a toss-up, you know? This has been Adam for RealHomeRecording.com.